Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another Tuesday's chat with OTRAM. Same as all the other chats, I don't really have any plan for this evening. So just, whatever questions you've got, pop them in the chat box and I'll try to answer them. Hey Paul. It has been a busy week since last chat. I got a new guy, Tim, up front to crack the whip to make sure Crash and I stay productive, and it's been busy. The shop is air conditioned, but it's just like a giant window unit, which normally keeps up unless it's really hot like today, and we've got the parts washer running. The parts washer is like 80 gallons of 160-degree water, so it throws off some heat into the shop. So yes, we have air conditioning and fans, but it still got pretty toasty in the shop today. Not as bad as it could be, but it was hot, and I was working over on the transmission bench most of the day today, and it gets no airflow over in that corner, so it was hot. Crash had the good side of the shop right in front of the AC, doing timing belt and brake lines today. We got 2 sets of FJ62 stainless exhaust packed up this morning, just waiting on UPS to come pick them up. He didn't have room on the truck, so he's supposed to be coming back. So if I have to jump up and go catch the UPS guy, that's why. But yeah, it's been busy, been productive, making our tool wish list for when we take over the other side. And right now, my tool wish list is way bigger than my actual budget. But it'll be nice to have the extra space. As much as I'm not ready for the snow, I wish winter would hurry up and get here. It's a lot easier to keep the shop warm than it is to keep it cool for some reason. What else we got going on? Been doing a bunch of exhaust work, a bunch of timing belts coming through. Look at this fancy board that Tim put over here. We got some more exhaust coming in, head gasket. I got to do a custom bumper that I've been putting off for way too long. That's coming in a couple of weeks, so I actually have to start drawing that. Your cruiser's moving along. Yeah, Crash got everything taken apart down to the timing belt. So I'll actually hang the timing belt and water pump in the morning so that he can reassemble. He got the 2 rear axle brake lines installed. We're just waiting on the one long one that we got wrong today from Toyota. And so we'll see how long that takes to get. But otherwise, yeah, your cruiser's moving right along. And I was wondering if that was you and your cruiser that's out here. But yeah, it's coming along. Least most favorite cruiser. Favorite is 70 series. Even though I don't haven't ever worked on one because we didn't get them here. Least favorite is hard because I have a couple of least favorites, and it's for different reasons. I love the look of a 60 series. I don't like working on them just because by this time everything's crusty and they've been butchered for 30 years. So you've got to like do a lot of unbutchering. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of 40 series for the same reason. I love the way they look. Um, it's just not a lot of fun unbutchering what people have already done. And also 100 series. And I just don't like dealing with those because of rust. Every one we've been getting in lately has been crusty and a pain to get everything apart. And I am not coming up with much for extemporaneous speaking today. I'm tired. Oh, and while Paul's on here, I'll grab your Serpentine Belt so you can see it. Yeah, I haven't seen a 100 series belt split up the middle yet. Yeah, Danny was like, I think he needs a power steering or serpentine belt. It's starting to split. Oop, and hold on, let me grab this phone real quick because I tried to call this guy earlier and now he's calling me back. Oh, Trim. Hey. Yeah, I meant to call you before I got on the line. Sorry about that. Been waiting for that customer to call back to let him know all his parts are done. As far as tire size with Allman Emu lift, that's a good question. We don't do tires here. So everybody picks up their truck and goes and takes them to their local tire store and has them do the tires. So I've never actually really paid attention to what size people are going with. It's something I should know, but yeah, I've never paid attention to it. Yeah, that belt it was toasted. Um, which is funny because the timing belt didn't actually look that bad. All the idlers are really rusty though, but the belt itself looked half decent. Yeah, hopefully Toyota will get me the brake line that we're missing faster than they expect. Sometimes they surprise me with how fast they get things here, and then other times it takes forever. And luckily, the line that broke is the shorter of the two. The one they sent us is the one that comes from like the rear axle all the way up, pretty much on the driver's side, cuts across the cross member in the middle, and then goes up the passenger side to like the passenger side wheel. It's a pain to fish that line in there. Yours, the one that's actually broken on yours, just goes from the rear axle up to like a junction block in the center. So it's not nearly as bad. You shouldn't notice any difference with the new timing belt. Um, it's, it'll be timed the same as it was coming apart. Uh, the only time you'd ever notice a difference was if the belt had jumped teeth or stretched, but usually by the time that happens, your engine's not running and you're throwing a check engine light for it. So yeah, the timing belt is one of those really expensive jobs that you don't get any satisfaction of noticing anything new about. It should drive nice for you with the new suspension and the new exhaust sounds really good. I really like the way the Thorley catback sounds on the 100 series. So you might know just a little bit more pep from the exhaust. There was something else that I had planned to talk about this evening, and I should have written it down because for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. So hopefully you guys have things to talk about, because I'm not coming up with anything. The actual name of the OME shocks, like part numbers, or I'm not exactly sure what you need or what you're meaning. They're the OME Nitro Charger. I'm pretty sure they're Nitro Chargers. Let me look real quick. Well, the ticket doesn't want to come up. We'll look it up the hard way. Yeah, it was just the Old Man Emu Nitro Charger Sports. That's what I thought they were, but I figured I'd double check just to be positive. Pretty much all the Old Man Emu stuff until you get to like the really bling like coilovers and stuff is the Nitro Charger Sports. We don't see enough 200s to actually know about the routine maintenance on them yet. I would imagine most of them are still going to the dealer. We've gotten a couple through to do like icon suspensions on, and I've done like lockers and skid plates on one, and I think I did a water pump on one, but that's about it. You know, besides oil changes, that's all we're really seeing them for. I haven't had them, like we haven't seen them coming through for anything like a repeatable problem. They are chain. I think the only Land Cruiser engine that had a belt was the 4.7 and the 100 series. They went back to chains with the 5.7. Well, I guess the diesels, some of them have belts, but the U.S. version of Land Cruisers, the only belt was the 100 series. So yeah, they're chains, so no real maintenance there. Water pump was easier than on 100 because you're not dealing with the timing belt. It's external to the engine. The only thing that made it a little bit of a pain, if you're familiar with like the 100 series, how it's got that set of like cooler pipes that runs down the front that kind of goes between the throttle body and the oil filter cooler. There's similar hoses like that on the 5.7. So you've got to move all that out of the way before you get the belt or the water pump off. So easier because you're not dealing with the timing belt. A little bit of a pain just because you have to move those hoses. But it's not bad at all. Probably closer to doing a water pump on an 80 series. Yeah, so far the 200 series seems pretty stout. Uh, I'm sure once they get a bit more age on them, we'll start seeing them more. But so far they're nice. Sorry, I'm also looking up things to do in Charlottesville for the weekend while we're doing chat. We have no good places to off-road. We used to go down about 2 hours south of here, outside of Harrisonburg. And there's a bunch of old like fire roads down there. But everything that was interesting has been shut down and gated off. Same with, there used to be some outside of Madison, and that's all been gated and shut down. So everybody goes, ooh, gelato, now you're speaking my language. Everybody goes up to like Roush Creek and Anthracite in PA or down to Tennessee. But yeah, there's nothing around here. I'm also on a diet though, so gelato may not be a great choice. After the struggling I had on the 80 series rear suspension video, I decided I needed to get in better shape and eat better. I haven't done any wheeling in Georgia. I've actually only been to Georgia once. We flew into Atlanta to pick up a car for an old roommate of mine. And we hung out with his sister outside of Atlanta, had some really good barbecue, and then drove home. And it was a Honda Del Sol, so there was no wheeling to be done in that. I've flown over Georgia a bunch of times, but that was the only time I've actually been there. Yeah, it seems like everything's getting shut down, and it looks like most of it's because people go out there and are idiots and litter, litter and go off trail, cut down trees, just tear everything up. If everybody would just be respectful of the trails, I think we'd have more more trails available. How did I get started with Land Cruisers? I bought a 4Runner from my dad in like '96 and promised him that I would never modify it. And then I chopped it all up and made a buggy out of it. But yeah, and then we did a 40 for my brother before he could drive, and then you got hooked on that, and then you got a 40. I'm not sure why I'm telling you this story since you already know this. But yeah, got into cruisers through a family addiction to Toyotas, and it's just gone from there. I've only ever had one. I had a 60 series for maybe a year. I've had more 4Runners and pickups than I have cruisers. Yeah, it seems luckily that they're opening up more private parks, at least up in PA, and I heard they're opening one in Maryland. which, it sucks because you got to pay to go there. But I guess if that's the only way to legally wheel, um, then that's what you got to do. Um, I don't know how other cruiser shops do it. I mean, we'll do Forerunners, we'll do Tundras, Tacomas, Sequoias, uh, whatever. I mean, technically, we're a Toyota, Honda, Subaru shop. So we were doing motor mounts on a Subaru last week. 99% of what comes through here is Land Cruiser, but we'll do pretty much anything Toyota, Honda, Subaru. Uh, we just don't see as much of the other stuff. Crash and I both have Forerunners and Hondas and Subarus. So yeah, I mean, everybody knows us for doing cruisers, but we do, I mean, pretty much anything Toyota. Um, I'm not sure what my opinion is on the FJ Cruiser. They seem pretty well built. Similar to like a Forerunner. They seem to be lasting and holding their value. I've seen them hold their own on the trail with the traction control system they've got. But for a short person like me, I can't see out of one. It is nothing but blind spots. So I don't like driving them. But they seem to be decent trucks. My mom had one for a couple of years and liked it. And they don't seem to be needing any more maintenance than anything else in the Toyota lineup. '80 series aftermarket is really good right now. For years, all you could really get was ARB, Old Man Emu. Now for suspension, you've got Old Man Emu, Icon, Tough Dog, the Slinky stuff, Slee. You've got a ton of options there. There's a ton of options for bumpers now. Um, yeah, more options on lockers. You have more choices than just Detroit or ARB. So yeah, 80 series has a great aftermarket. Especially compared to what it was 20 years ago. It seems like the internet's brought together. You've got one guy in a shop over here, doing bumpers. You've got another guy over here doing skid plates. And now everybody can find everybody else. We do stainless catback exhaust for them, mostly because we've got a couple of customers with supercharged 80s, and they wanted a freer flowing exhaust, so we started building the catbacks for them and for FJ62s. Which, if anybody needs one, I have one on the shelf that a customer backed out of, so no wait time for me to make it. It's ready to ship. I've never dealt with it. Oh, you're talking on the 100, the guy that's in the small business forum. Yeah, I've never dealt with it. I've heard of it happening mostly from that thread. Um, we're starting to see more hundreds. We probably get 3 or 4 through a month now. Um, but I haven't done the ignition bypass for the starter relay, and I think that's a different that uh, deals with a relay, like one of the wires burning out in the relay box. They also have the problem with the little drive shaft in the ignition tumbler breaking, which is a separate issue. I'm not sure which one you're looking at. Hold on, just a sec. I got a guy here at the front door. Be right back. Nobody nobody comes to visit all day, and then as soon as I get on live chat, um, everybody's knocking on the door and calling. No brake line for you yet. Uh, it's coming out of California. They had the wrong line in the Baltimore warehouse, but no, not the one you actually need. It was one of the guys from the shop next door wanting to borrow the pressure washer. Bubbles is my favorite character on Trailer Park Boys. I have not. Oh, I get enough puns during the day with Crash here. Okay, not sure who the last two guys were. Yeah, pretty happy with the channel growth. Um, I think we're at like 529 or 530 subscribers, which I feel like is pretty good since we've only been doing this for like 6 months. Um, awesome shooting to go for 1,000. Oh, 531. Sweet. Yeah, I thought getting the watch time was going to be the hard part, but we've gone past the required watch time. So now we just have to get to 1,000 subscribers before they unlock all the goodness. Um, but yeah, I'm happy with it. And yes, Richie, I know I should do sick vehicle walkarounds, um, but it doesn't fit with the channel theme I've got going on of how-to videos. Um, but yeah, it didn't plan to make a bunch of videos, but after we made the first couple, they were kind of fun. So we've just been making them as projects come through. Some of them it seems like people don't care about, and then others we get a ton of views on. So I'm still trying to figure out what people are looking for. Uh, but yeah, it's fun. I enjoy doing it. And yeah, don't encourage Richie at the vehicle walkarounds, because then I have to start doing vehicle walkarounds, and I'm not good at extemporaneous speaking while uh, walking around vehicles. Yeah, it's hard enough for me to actually make the how-to videos without screwing those up. I think trying to remember specs and walking around the vehicle and talking about it would be even worse. That takes so much editing to get right. I think extemporaneous is just my word of the day because I think I've used it like 3 times in this chat. Um, on towing, I am not sure. I would check the owner's manual. Um, I cannot tow a trailer to save my life, so it's not something I've done. So I've never actually paid attention to what gear you should be in. I would assume not overdrive, but I am not positive. So the owner's manual would be the one you'd want to check. And which LX are we talking about? And yeah, I should just make them, but yeah, I'll make Crash make them. I use the power button for everything. Oh, is that the guy that's like, it's something like building the world's cheapest Land Cruiser or something like that? I've seen the thumbnails, but I don't think I've actually watched the video series on it. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about now, but I haven't. I haven't sat down to watch it. Octane's another one of those. You you want to check your owner's manual. I'm pretty sure most of them are okay for 87 if you're not supercharged, but I'm not positive on the newer stuff. Yeah, yeah, like what Richie said. Yeah, the superchargers you got to do 93, and like my Forerunner, I bumped the timing way up and messed around with it, so it's got to get 89 or it knocks. And like my dad's 40, he shaved the head, so he's got higher compression, so he has to run 89 or it knocks. But for run of the mill, I'm pretty sure 87's fine. You just want to double check. If it recommends 90, I'd probably run with it. But the knock sensor should be able to know if you're running crappier gas and adjust for it. I don't know of anybody that's doing automatic transmission rebuilds. I know Cruiser Brothers is starting to bring in the wholesale automatics from Australia, and I'm pretty sure they're bringing in the valve bodies. I don't know if they're bringing in the entire transmission. I've heard really good things about Rodney's rebuilds. We had a 62 here a couple of months ago that drove great. But but that's my extent of knowledge with them. I'm pretty sure you can still get a new and or rebuilt trans from Toyota. They are just insanely expensive. But I don't have a recommended rebuilder shop for the automatics. We don't do them in-house. I did an automatic one time years ago, and I will never ever do it again. It worked great, and it was fine. It was just such a pain that I don't want to go through it again. We do manual transmissions here, but not autos. Supercharger for 100. There's, they're probably still out there. I know a lot of people are getting used kits. I don't know if Magnuson has re-released those as a kit. I haven't been on their website in a while. I know you can still get like the 3.4 and a couple of other oddball ones straight from Magnuson. But I don't know on the 100 series. It depends on how much money you want to blow. And it depends on the barn. It depends on what you want to do with it. Like if you're going to chop it up and, make it into something else, it could be cool. Trying to put everything back together and find all the bits and pieces to put one back to stock could be fun. And usually if somebody's jerked the drivetrain out of it, there was probably more wrong with it than that person wanted to deal with, and that's why it got stuck in the barn. So, at least the ones I've seen, you're just getting a can of worms. Usually, if the price is super good, yeah, there's a reason. But it's getting harder to track down some of the parts. Because it's not like you can go to the local Napa and get everything. So you're trying to find pieces that people have stashed in their garage and under their bed and in their basement. So it can be time consuming to try to put one back together. We've got one here that the guy actually bought from next to a barn. And it's mostly there, but it's definitely had its share of butchering over the years. And when it came to us, it had no ignition, no carb, no oil pan, and we'll slowly get one system running, and then call the guy and say, hey, we've got X running, but now you need Y and Z to move further. So we've just been moving along on it step by step. But it's been a pain just trying to track down all the little bits and pieces you need. Like just to make the carb work, somebody had chopped up the gas pedal and re-welded something weird into it. So it's been a struggle. I'd much rather. I think it'd be much better to start with a complete running vehicle, even if it's only semi-running. Then you've got the vast majority of what you need to actually make a working truck. You may have to refurbish stuff, but at least you've got a good baseline starting point. We've had a bunch coming through. I've seen them on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace lately that are just terrible looking, and people are asking crazy amounts of money. I've seen a couple of 60s show up with no rear quarter panels left, and just destroyed, and they're still asking $7,000. So maybe I'm behind the times with what cruisers are running lately, but yeah, we've seen a lot. I've seen a lot pop up lately that it's you just ask how in the hell does that person think they're going to get that kind of money for it? And I guess they do because you keep seeing them pop up. Yeah, um, I'd love to have an 80 series to put together as a shop truck. Um, but I'm priced out of the market on those. Uh, you know, as much as it'd be great to have one to tool around in and wheel until they come back down in price, I don't think I'll be in an 80 unless I find one that needs a lot of work and that is cheap. I should have jumped on the one. My brother got one a couple of months ago. It's a 97 that needed a head gasket, and it was super cheap. It needed a bunch of work, but it was cheap and it looks good, and it had all new leather. I should have jumped on that one instead of sending the link to my dad. But if you guys don't mind, I'm going to jump off of here and head home and go let the dogs out. But I will see you guys again next Tuesday. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. And remember, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And please tell your friends to subscribe. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. Thanks.